This is Chapter 1, Lesson 3, Rates. We're first going to talk about some definitions so we know how to do these problems. So our first definition is fraction. A fraction is a number that represents part of a whole or part of a set. So go ahead and fill that out in your book. This is on page 31. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. A rate is comparing two quantities with different kinds of units. A unit rate is a rate that is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1. So those are just some definitions, so hopefully you can tell the difference between these words. So for each of these problems in this lesson, we are going to be finding the unit rate. So I would put a star next to that one. On page 32, we're going to do letter A. Emma downloaded 35 songs in 5 minutes. How many songs did she download per minute? So remember, we're finding a unit rate. So we want to find this fraction and turn it down all the way to 1. So we know that she watched 35 songs in 5 minutes. So we can also write songs in 5 minutes. We want to turn this into a unit rate. Remember, unit rate always has that denominator of 1. So we want to figure out how much she downloaded in 1 minute. So one way we do this is we want to know, how can I get from 5 to 1? What would I have to divide by? Well, 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Or whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So I need to divide the top by 5. So 35 divided by 5 is 7. So she did 7 songs in 1 minute. So my answer would be 7 songs per minute. I'm going to need to write this statement out for all of these problems.
The code word for this video is Mr. Schromick. Oops.
This is on page 32, letter B. Jonathan is baking several loaves of bread to sell in his bakery. He used 9 cups of water and 12 cups of whole wheat flour. How much water was used per cup? So I'm going to have 9 cups of water over 12 cups of flour. And I want to simplify that down so I can figure out how much he had in 1 cup of flour. So, one way I'm going to do this, whenever I have a fraction and my number's smaller on top, how do I get from 12 to 1? Well, I would have to divide by 12. And since it's a little bit harder to do 9 divided by 12, we're going to look at it a little bit differently. Whenever we have a fraction like this, and we can't simply just divide down, what we're actually going to do is we're just going to simplify the fraction. So how can we simplify 9/12? Well, 3 can go into both of them. So I can divide the top and bottom by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I'm saying that there's 3/4 cups of water in 1 cup of flour. Remember, we need to say that. So I'm going to use Jonathan's name. Jonathan used 3/4 cups of water per cup of flour. Per is another way we can say 1.